Hey, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk with another episode of Ranking the Albums. Today I'm taking on Kentucky's favorite native son, or at least maybe my favorite from Kentucky, maybe not everyone's, but sort of the modern country Americana singer Sturgill Simpson. Kind of the new breed of outlaw country, some would describe him as. So he has 6 studio albums out starting in 2013 up through 2020. Um, and in the 2000s, he was in a little local band called Sunday Valley. This was just something he was doing on the weekends while he was working a regular job. I know he worked for the railroad for a while. He didn't really become a known musician until he was in his 30s. Let's get into it. So we'll go with my number 6. And this is one of the 2 albums from 2000 in the Cut and Grass series. So this is Cut and Grass Volume 1, the Butcher Shop Sessions. I have the version that's on, it's a 2 LP set, so it's on the John Deere Green and John Deere Yellow, or I guess if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, maybe you think it looks like Green Bay Packers colors. But basically, these 2 albums that he cut in 2020 were bluegrass versions of songs from other parts of his catalog. So Volume 1, there's 20 songs spread over 2 discs. It's pretty straightforward bluegrass, which is probably why it's my number 6. I'm not a huge bluegrass guy, but this does have a few of his songs early on from Sunday Valley, which is pretty much impossible to get in any other format. The stuff has never been re-released and was very rare. Some songs from his Sailor's Guide to the Earth album, Meta Modern Sounds of Country Music, the debut album High Top Mountain. We'll be talking about all those albums a little bit later. And so while I think this is okay, this is going to be my number 6. And again, I don't think he really has a bad album. My number 5 is going to be his debut album, High Top Mountain, from 2013. And so I think I just have plain old black vinyl. Sort of a cool label. And and again, a lot of these songs are redone on that Volume 1 and in the Volume 2 of the Cut and Grass series. But this is pretty traditional, old school country music that he was doing. My number 4 is going to be Cut and Grass Volume 2, the Cowboy Arm Sessions. So this one is a single CD. I have mine on sort of this translucent dark blue vinyl. And there's all the various players. I feel this gets a little bit more adventurous than the Volume 1 of Cut and Grass. This one is very heavy from the Sailor's Guide to Earth album. Although there is, I had written these down, there were a couple tracks from High Top, and there were a couple of brand new tracks that had never been released. The final track on side B, Hobo Cartoon, was actually a song that he had started writing with Merle Haggard shortly before Merle Haggard died, and then he got around to refinishing it. Then you've got a little, so you got the Kentucky state flag there in the label. So Cut and Grass Volume 2 is going to be my number 4. So my number 3 is going to be A Sailor's Guide to Earth. This was his 3rd album from 2016. I believe this was his major label debut. He ended up winning the Grammy Award for Best Country Album of the Year for this particular album. And so let me hold this up properly. And so this is, while it's still country music, there's definitely a lot of sort of psychedelic psych rock influence on this. Brace for Impact, Welcome to Earth, Polywog, Sea Stories. He does do a cover of Nirvana's In Bloom. So if you ever want to hear the countrified version of a Kurt Cobain song, you can get it here. One of my favorite Sturgill stories is that, well, he won a Grammy Award for this album at the American Country Music Awards. Not only was he not nominated, he wasn't even invited. He actually showed up in front of Bridgestone Arena in Nashville and was busking, so he was there with his acoustic guitar. He had his Grammy is sitting in his guitar, because Sturgill is kind of the guy that will do these sorts of things. All right, my number 2 is going to be sort of his second album, sort of his breakout album. I have the fancy Vinyl Me Please version. This is Sturgill Simpson's Metamodern Sounds in Country Music. So again, it's still pretty country, but you're getting a little bit of psychedelic influence. It's not just completely traditional. Turtles All the Way Down, that's probably his best song ever. Again, I have the fancy Vinyl Me Please version, since they're doing a country track now, so it's on sort of this marble purple disc. And so this is just an outstanding album, but it's not my number 1. My number 1 is Sturgill's non-country album, Sound and Fury. I mean, isn't that just, look at that awesome album cover, Sound and Fury. So this is like sort of a mix of like blues rock, psych rock, sort of modern electronic-y rock, but it's not country. They did and they made a Japanese anime video around this, and between the songs, it's sort of like that Queens of the Stone Age songs for the deaf, sort of flipping back and forth between the dial. But this is Sturgill Simpson just being like, it's sort of that spirit of Neil Young. Oh, you just gave me a Grammy Award for country music? Well, my next album ain't going to be country music. And then what did he, and this was from 2019. And then what did he do after this album? We did his couple albums of bluegrass covers. And what's he going to do next? Is he going to go back to traditional country? Is he going to do another rock album? Is he going to do his psych country stuff? Is he going to do something completely different than any of that? We really don't know with Sturgill Simpson, but it's probably going to be cool. So again, running through from 6 to 1. My number 6 is Cutting Grass, Volume 1, The Butcher Shop Sessions from 2020. Number 5, High Top Mountain, the debut from 2013. My number 4 is Cutting Grass, Volume 2, The Cowboy Arm Sessions, also 2020. My number 3, A Sailor's Guide to Earth, 2016. My number 2, Metamodern Sounds in Country Music from 2014. And my favorite Sturgill Simpson album, Sound and Fury from 2019. So go check out some Sturgill if you haven't.